Hey, I'm Cody Sharp. I'm the owner of Sharp Guys Web Design. Tonight I'm going to talk to you about Google Analytics 4 and how it's not worth upgrading to. So, I recently had a number of clients that started talking about Google Analytics 4 and how they want to move forward with moving into it. I want to make sure that you understand a couple of things. So, Google Analytics, the Universal Analytics, is basically what people have been using for the last decade or so. Basically, it allows for you to see a number of different data points about all kinds of things around your website. So in other words, you put on like a small snippet of code, just JavaScript, onto your website, and you're able to track all kinds of things. So let's imagine the number of people coming to your website, the number of people that are leaving your website, the number of people that come to your website and they decide that they want to look at another page. Maybe they come back to your website, but they've already decided that they didn't necessarily want to see your website. So there shows a lack of engagement, basically. So that's called a bounce rate. There's all these different things that are going on with what Google Analytics does. It also has the ability to easily show someone that's not necessarily an expert on how all of these interfaces work, how many people have come to your website from a certain location, let's say search for example, and actually converted into a lead for you. So that's really important, right? We can all understand how that could be a really successful, adventurous thing. Let me talk about Google Analytics 4. So let's say that you have already built up, let's say 5 or 10 years of history. When you install Google Analytics 4, it's like you've never had Google Analytics at all. So all of that previous history goes away and you have no detail about it whatsoever in the report that you're looking at going forward. So all of that old history is gone. Absolutely everything. All the conversion history, all the analytics history. And then let's say, for example, that you used Google Analytics previously to help understand who came to your website and you used that when you did Google Ads. This was called Google Audience. And that no longer applies either. You have to create a new audience. All of that old stuff, gone. Let's go back to where we talked about where people came to your website and they didn't show a true engagement. They left. And maybe they came back, but they left at the initial point. That's called a bounce. Those are gone. We don't have that information anymore. Instead, what we have the ability to do is track people throughout multiple device types, which could be useful. We can all agree. For example, all the apps that you have for your company can now be tracked alongside your website traffic. Wait, you don't have apps for your company? I don't understand. Do you not have an Apple app and a Google app and also a website? Oh, you must be a small business. Well, we don't care about any of that anymore. All we care about is these incredibly large companies that actually have all these types of things. Here's the thing. You could say, well, don't worry about it. We're not going to continue doing Google Analytics 4. We're just going to use Google Analytics Universal. No, they're getting rid of it in July of 2023. That means at that point, you no longer will be able to track traffic and be able to log in and see all that old data. Okay, so you can say, well, I'll just take all of my data and I'll turn it into an alternative. Right now, there's only a couple of alternatives, and they're all going to be paid. And I understand that, Tom. Basically, what they're doing is they're trying to create a niche for the need that Google Analytics is creating. Here's my plan. In the coming year ahead, I'm not going to be turning to Google Analytics 4. I'm going to actually be converting over to one of these other softwares. I haven't decided yet. I've looked at a couple alternatives. They're going to cost me probably $5 per month. And honestly, that's a small price to pay to actually have the information that I need and not have Google put their hands into my business. So, with all that being said, here's my recommendation. Try Google Analytics 4 out if you want. Try to add the code and see the types of information that you're able to get. I think you'll probably find that it's not going to be as good or as strong as the information you had previously. Partially this is true because Google has changed the way, and Apple has changed the way that you're able to actually see information from people coming to your website. Privacy has become a bigger concern, which is why Google is feeling the need that they need to prioritize Google Analytics 4. It actually utilizes a different methodology for using, it doesn't use cookies anymore, it uses a different mechanism for tracking people. So that's partially the reason that they want to do this. But as far as like not holding historical data, not converting people over to historical norms, not giving those people any kind of conversion data going forward and those types of things. All of that was a decision by Google. I feel like a lot of it has to do with a number of different things around their business model. Their business model is all around, if you think about it, trying to convert people into Google Ads, trying to make sure that people have the idea that Google Ads are the way that they can actually definitely guarantee lead generation. And because of that, we have a definite push towards Google Ads. Google Analytics 4 hooks up and connects with Google Ads very well, and it will continue to do so. The other options that are going to be out there won't be. Google Analytics doesn't make any money for Google. It's not a profit driver. Google Ads is. So this is a reason for them to be able to push people to do what they want to do without them being able to necessarily say, oh, you have to do this. But at the same time, if you don't do this, you're definitely not going to be able to get the same kind of connection and the same kind of connectivity towards our ads network. This is just a position of them using their monopoly, their power that they have as 90% stakeholders of all of the search market. So anyway, just my thoughts. It's annoying. It's awful. It's Google Analytics 4, and it's coming soon to a website near you. Try it out. See what you think. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Totally could be. Hope I am. But right now, I've tried it on a number of websites. Not a fan.